Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today we have a classic fairy tale for you, perfect for practicing your English listening and comprehension skills. It's the story of the Golden Goose. So get comfortable and let's begin. Once upon a time, there lived a woodcutter with his wife and 3 sons. The eldest 2 were clever and handsome, but the youngest son, whose name was Simpleton, was considered, well, simple. He was often mocked and overlooked by his family. One day, the eldest son decided to go into the forest to chop wood. Before he left, his mother gave him a delicious sweet cake and a bottle of fine wine so he wouldn't go hungry or thirsty. As he ventured into the forest, he met a little gray-haired old man. The old man greeted him politely and said, "Could you spare a small piece of your cake and a sip of your wine? I am so terribly hungry and thirsty." But the clever son replied, "If I give you my cake and wine, I won't have enough for myself. Go on your way." And he left the old man standing there. He soon began to chop down a tree, but it wasn't long before his axe slipped, and he cut his arm so badly that he had to go home to have it bandaged. This, as it turned out, was the little gray man's doing. Next, the second son went into the forest. His mother gave him the same provisions, a good cake and a bottle of wine. He too encountered the same little gray man, who asked for a little food and drink, but the second son was just as selfish. "What I give to you, I take from myself. Be off," he said sharply. His punishment came swiftly. No sooner had he struck the first blow on a tree than the axe slipped and injured his leg, forcing him to be carried home. Then it was Simpleton's turn. "Please, father, let me go and cut wood," he begged. His father scoffed. "Your brothers have hurt themselves. What makes you think you'll fare any better? You know nothing about it." But Simpleton pleaded and pleaded until his father finally gave in. "Fine, go on then. Maybe you'll learn a lesson when you get hurt." His mother gave him a simple, plain cake made with water and baked in the ashes, along with a bottle of sour beer. When Simpleton arrived in the forest, he met the little gray-haired man. The man greeted him and said, "Please, give me a piece of your cake and a drink from your bottle. I am so hungry and thirsty." Simpleton, being kind-hearted, replied, "Of course, I only have this ash cake and sour beer, but if that's all right with you, let's sit down and share it." They sat down, and when Simpleton took out his ash cake, it had transformed into a fine, sweet cake, and the sour beer had become excellent wine. They ate and drank together happily. When they had finished, the little man said, "Because you have a good heart and were willing to share what little you had, I will give you something special. See that old tree over there? Cut it down, and you will find something in its roots." With that, the little man vanished. Simpleton did as he was told. He found the tree, took his axe, and felled it with one strong chop. And there, nestled among the roots, was a goose with feathers of pure, shining gold. He was overjoyed. He picked up the goose and decided to head to an inn for the night before returning home. The innkeeper had 3 daughters. When they saw the goose, they were captivated by its magnificent golden feathers. Each one of them desperately wanted just one. The eldest daughter thought, "I must have a feather. I'll surely find a moment to pluck one out." So when Simpleton left the room for a moment, she grabbed the goose's wing. But as soon as her fingers touched the golden feathers, they stuck fast, and she couldn't pull her hand away. Soon after, the second sister came in, with the same intention of stealing a feather. She saw her sister and thought she was just holding the goose. "I'll just touch it too," she thought. But the moment she touched her sister's shoulder, she also became stuck. Finally, the third sister arrived with the same greedy idea. The other two cried out, "Stay away! For heaven's sake, stay away!" But she didn't understand. Thinking they were already getting feathers, she ran forward and touched her second sister's arm, and immediately she too was stuck. So the three sisters were forced to spend the night attached to one another and the goose. The next morning, Simpleton wasn't concerned about the three girls stuck to his goose. He just picked it up and set off on his journey, with the three of them trailing unwillingly behind him, running to keep up as he walked. Out in the fields, they met the parson. When he saw this peculiar procession, he was shocked. "For shame, you shameless girls! Why are you running after this young man through the fields? Is that proper behavior?" he yelled. He tried to pull the young girl away, but as soon as he touched her hand, he also got stuck and was forced to run along with the rest of them. Not long after, the sexton saw him and was bewildered. "Your Reverence, where are you going so quickly? Don't forget we have a christening today," he called out, running after him. He grabbed the parson by his sleeve, and you guessed it, he too became stuck fast. As the five of them trotted along, one after another, they came across two farmers returning from the fields with their hoes. The parson called out to them, begging for help to set him and the sexton free. But the moment the farmers touched the sexton, they were also caught in the chain. So now there were 7 people, all running in a line behind Simpleton and his golden goose. Simpleton's journey eventually led him to a city where a king reigned. This king had a daughter who was so serious that no one had ever been able to make her laugh. The king had issued a decree. Whoever could make his daughter, the princess, laugh would win her hand in marriage. When Simpleton heard this, he went with his goose and his entire entourage before the king's daughter. And when the princess saw the 7 people all stuck together, stumbling and trotting behind the goose, she couldn't contain herself. She burst out into a hearty laugh, laughing so hard she could barely stand. So, as promised, Simpleton claimed the princess for his bride. However, the king wasn't thrilled with the idea of having a son-in-law named Simpleton. He started making excuses and setting new, impossible tasks. First, he told Simpleton, "You must bring me a man who can drink an entire cellar full of wine." Simpleton remembered the little gray man from the forest. He went back to the spot where he had cut down the tree and found the very same man sitting there, looking rather downcast. "What troubles you?" Simpleton asked. "Oh, I have a terrible thirst that I cannot quench. Cold water doesn't help." "Well, I can help you with that," Simpleton said. "Come with me and you shall have your fill." He led the man to the king's cellar, and the man began to drink. He drank and drank from one barrel to the next until before the day was over, the entire cellar was empty. But the king still wasn't satisfied. He set another challenge. "Now," he said, "you must find me a man who can eat a mountain of bread." Simpleton returned to the forest and found the same little man who complained of a terrible, unending hunger. "I've eaten a whole oven full of bread, but it's like a drop in the ocean." Simpleton cheerfully led him to the palace, where the king had gathered all the flour in the kingdom and baked it into a gigantic mountain of bread. The man sat down, and in a single day, the entire mountain had vanished. The king, now growing desperate, came up with one final, truly impossible task. He declared, "I want a ship that can sail on land as well as at sea. If you bring me such a ship, you shall have my daughter without any further delay." Once again, Simpleton went to the forest, and there was the little gray man, the one who had shared his simple meal and helped him twice already. He said, "I have drunk for you, and I have eaten for you. I will also give you the ship. I do all this because you were kind and compassionate to me." He then gave Simpleton a magnificent ship that could travel on land and sea. When the king saw the incredible ship, he knew he could no longer refuse. He had run out of excuses. The princess and Simpleton were married, and the wedding was celebrated with great joy. After the king's death, Simpleton inherited the kingdom and lived for a long, long time, happy and content with his wife. And that's the story of the Golden Goose. It's a wonderful tale that reminds us that kindness and a generous heart can lead to unexpected and wonderful rewards. What seems simple on the outside can often hide the greatest